All right, folks. I regret not getting a video out yesterday because boy, now everything is so much has happened. I can't whatever I was going to talk about yesterday. I don't even remember now. We're so far past that. I have to move on because one of the greatest stories ever just dropped from CNN a few minutes ago, and it's this expose of Mark Robinson. Now, I was going to talk about the looming Israeli-Lebanon war. Israel appears to be, they're softening the ground right now, so it looks like they're going to invade Lebanon. But I don't even have time to talk about that because, there's a more pressing matter. It's Mark Robinson, who I don't think I've ever really mentioned on this channel. I've seen him here or there. I remember seeing clips of him and, people posting speeches of him going like, wow, the lieutenant governor of North Carolina is so based. And he's this big fat black guy, and he's, pretty boisterous, I guess you'd say. He is outspoken, and I like that. I like his style. He comes across as a genuine guy to me. I think he's a regular dude who eventually, just kind of got fed up with the way things are going in the country, and I think that he is about as simple as that as far as understanding his motives. And so this is someone who didn't spend their life in politics. It's someone who never, intended to be heavily scrutinized. And so he's done things in his life. He's done things that normal people do. He's done things that are regrettable. Probably. Well, no, definitely, because I think he admitted to his, encouraging his current wife to get an abortion back in the 80s. And that's a terrible thing. But, people change. And people grow. And a lot of times it's the people who have, made bad mistakes, who have given in to the excesses of our modern debauched culture, who later on in their life become the strongest advocates against it. And so what is it that they've dug up about Mark Robinson? I was really expecting something pretty bad. Well, I don't know. Let's be honest. I wasn't expecting anything really bad, but I thought the amount of hype that it was getting, this should have been something really bad. I was expecting, is there going to be a rape accusation? Are they going to tie him to some cold case murder from 50 years ago? What is it going to be? It could be anything, but it's got to be really bad because already before the story came out, Republicans were calling on him to drop out of the race. And this story came very strategically. It came hours before the deadline to drop out of any any race for this November, in North Carolina. Any candidate has until tonight at midnight to drop out of the race, or else they're on the ballot for November. And so this story was obviously timed by CNN and whoever they're working with, notable, most likely the Democratic and Republican parties of North Carolina, because this opposition research apparently came from the Democratic Party, but it's conveniently for the Republican Party, this is coming right before the deadline to drop out. CNN could have waited till tomorrow to drop this story, and there would have been no chance that this guy would drop out at all. But it seems to me like the GOP was already gearing up to try and get him to drop out, and this is their cudgel. So they're not. This story didn't come out 2 months ago, so they didn't have enough time for this to work its way through the news cycle, for it to be potentially debunked or responded to in any way. It's just, no, here's this terrible opposition research about you. You have until midnight to drop out, and so everybody's going to say drop out right now. But thankfully, before the story came out, Mark Robinson came out and he said, I'm not dropping out. I don't care what any of you fuckers say. I'm a good person. I'm going to win. I got the citizens on my side, and I'm going to do what I said. And I respect that. He's not cowering in fear. He's not apologizing, and he shouldn't, because what is this terrible thing that he did? What did they unearth about Mark Robinson? They unearthed anonymous posts on a forum made between 2008 and 2012. Just posts online, words. That's what they're so mad about. Nothing that he did. Nothing recent. These are things that he posted anonymously on the internet back between 2008 and 2012. And anyone who was on the internet between 2008 and 2012, everyone was anonymous back then, still on the internet, and you said whatever the hell you wanted. You said a lot of things that you didn't even believe. You said a lot of things that you claimed to be true that weren't true. People, of course, pretending to be different folks. People posing as Navy SEALs. People posing as women. That was the big thing. That's still a big thing now, but a lot of people back then, you pretend to be a woman for clout because there were no girls on the internet back in 2008. Anyway, Mark Robinson didn't do that, though. Mark Robinson was posting on some black porno sites forum section. So I guess they had a message board on the porno site. It was called Nude Africa. That's what it was. Nude Africa. So I take that to mean it's a black porn site. And on this porn message board, he made a lot of lewd comments. That's what they got him for, making lewd comments on a porn website. Let me think, how long was this? The most recent one was 8 years before he ever decided to run for political office. That's what they got. The guy used a porn site. He watched tranny porn, or so the posts claim, assuming that these are his posts. Now, it's possible that this was manufactured. I don't know that. We don't have time to vet that. This could all be completely made up because it's coming from CNN, who got it from the campaign of his opponent, from the Democrats. So the Democrats are the ones who brought this. They could have just manufactured all of it. But even assuming it's true, and I kind of do because it's not that bad. So like if they totally made something up, I would have expected it to be like worse. What they're saying is Mark Robinson, who claims to who in this post claims to have liked tranny porn, now thinks that transgender women should not use the same locker rooms as girls in public high schools. Like what? It's like they're calling him a hypocrite because 20 years ago or 15 years ago, he watched tranny porn. Whoa, buddy! You really showed the Republicans now. And then the other gotcha was, he says that this could lead to problems where if you have people getting to decide their own gender and pick whatever locker room or whatever bathroom they want to use, because that just means that boys can go and use the girls' locker room and look at all the girls change. Okay, so that was Mark Robinson's statement. Then they said, well, look, he's a hypocrite because here he is on this porno site admitting when he was 14 years old that he, on 2 occasions, went and peeped on girls showering at the gym. See, he's clearly a hypocrite. It's like, actually, you're proving his point. As a 14-year-old boy, given the opportunity, he went and peeped at naked girls. So if you give 14-year-old boys the opportunity to say, hey, I feel like a girl today, I'm gonna go walk in the girls' locker room. Guess what? They're gonna go peep at the naked girls. That's what a 14-year-old boy is gonna do. I mean, this is so easy to counteract. And so I hope Mark Robinson does a good job, taking this down bit by bit. It's hilarious because one, deny everything, and say two, even if I said that, it doesn't. this just, I mean, the fact that here's what they're expecting me to take down. It's like, oh my God, that's so grody. He used a porn website. They want everybody to clutch their pearls. That a guy running for governor has used has looked at pornography before, and that he made lewd comments anonymously in private. If we're still at the point where people take their politicians this seriously, that they really believe that their politicians are good people in the shadows, at their home, that they have good home lives. I mean, I don't know how you reason with a voter like that, because politicians are not like that. They're not good people. I guarantee you, the average elected official at the federal level or at the statewide level, let's just say statewide, so senators and governors, the average statewide elected official in America, far more debauched and depraved than whatever they're accusing Mark Robinson of. And hey, here's the thing. I am not a hypocrite on this because I defended, was her name Katie Hill? I always forget, because there's also a left-wing commentator whose last name is Hill, and I always forget if Katie Hill is the commentator or the congresswoman. And they kind of look alike to me. They look really the same. I can't tell them apart. But anyway, the congresswoman who was in the thruple in California, or if you remember, Cenk Uygur ran for her seat in Congress after she was ousted, for being a part of a thruple. I didn't think that she should have to resign because of that. And I said the same thing about, what's his name? George Santos. They're like, oh, he's a closeted gay. We have to get rid of him. And it's like, well, he was elected. He's got a 2-year term. In 2 years, which would be now, vote for somebody else, but he was elected. He should carry out his term. Same thing with Katie Hill. It's like, okay, well, people really care that much about her personal life, but, to me, the number one thing should be your politics if you're a politician. It's like, these are not good people. It's like, hey, if they're in the throuple, if it's really just the three of them, at least I know that there are no kids involved, which, whatever I worry about with politicians when they go up in Washington, I just worry about them abusing kids, because that's the stories that you hear. That's how they corrupt these people and what's the term? Compromise, just like we're talking about with Diddy. Diddy would bring in other celebrities and force them to engage in these freak-offs where they would partake in orgies with underage boys and girls. And then he would have dirt on them. Epstein stuff. That's what I worry about. What I don't worry about is Mark Robinson jerking off to tranny porn 15 years ago. That's not an image I want in my head. It's not something I care about. It doesn't, because it doesn't affect what he's saying now. It's not inconsistent with what he's saying now. You can watch tranny porn and not think that trannies should be in. Actually, is YouTube? Oh my God, is YouTube gonna censor me for using that word? Oh no, am I gonna get this video deleted? That would suck. I guess that's why I have Rumble and BitChute. But still, I don't want to strike on my channel. I have no active strikes. I had a warning from like 2021, but I think that's finally rolled off. So I think my channel's totally clean. But anyway, I just want to say Mark Robinson did nothing wrong. He should not drop out. He's one of the best candidates running this cycle, bar none. And you might ask me, why do I think that? How do I know that? Because they're attacking him. If you're taking flack, you're over the target. It's that simple. Here's the thing with Robinson. The GOP nominated Trump for president. Trump has way worse things in his closet than jerking off to tranny porn and saying that he peeped on girls when he was 14. Which, by the way, again, when you're on a porno website and you're posting anonymously, especially back in these days, 2008, 2012, people would create online personas. You would just say things that you didn't believe. You would say things that weren't true. You would make things up for clout. And what's the kind of thing that you make up for clout on a porn website? Oh, you might make up stories about sexual encounters that didn't really happen. But hey, maybe to a non-internet literate generation, maybe people who weren't on the internet in 2008 and 2012, back in those days, maybe this would really upset them. But to me, I find it pretty funny. Almost endearing. I don't want to say it's endearing that a gubernatorial candidate was watching tranny porn. But it's like, come on. This just comes across as regular guy, and it's like, oh, he described himself as a quote perv. It's like, oh, you mean the guy posting on a pornographic website? He called himself a perv? Oh my gosh. Wow. Startling revelation. And the fact that Republicans were calling on him to drop out before this even came out is just disgusting. You people suck. Same thing with the Madison Cawthorn stuff. They took down Madison Cawthorn. Why? Because he looked like he was a little too close with the bros, and there were videos of him from when he was in college or something, or maybe afterwards because he was in the wheelchair, I don't know, doing stuff that it looked a little gay, I'll be honest, but it's not like they were having gay sex in the video. They were just sort of fooling around, but in the literal sense. They were horsing around. It wasn't something I would do. I'm not close with friends like that. It looked gay to me. I'm not gonna lie. But that is not a reason why Madison Cawthorn should have been, especially by the Democrats. That's the weird thing. Like, Democrats taking down Republicans for looking gay, for appearing gay. Like, I thought Madison Cawthorn was cringe when he was in Congress, but then, when he lost, it's like, wait, they took him out? So he must have actually been good. Like, I thought he was just a grifter, when he was actually in Congress, but it's like, well, if they take you out like this, then, there's a reason for that. You must be one of the good ones. I mean, I felt that way about Trump. That's what really got me on the Trump side. In 2016, I was very skeptical of Trump, like, oh, this liberal New Yorker comes and runs for president as a Republican. It's like, that just screams Michael Bloomberg to me. Another New York billionaire who ran as a Republican to get elected, because he couldn't win a Democratic primary. But over the 4 years that Trump was in office and seeing, what he was attacked for and by what people, what they said about him, it's like, oh, everything that they're attacking Trump for is actually a good thing. Everything that they say about him that is a bad thing are actually positives. So then they don't have the same problems with him that I do. What they're worried about is that he'll be a good president. And in which case, if they're that worried about him being a good president, then maybe he actually is one. And so that's how I felt about Cawthorn after he was ousted from the House. It's like, well, gee, they took him out. He must have been pretty good. And now they're coming for Mark Robinson, also from North Carolina, who would be, by the way, the first black governor in a former Confederate state, or not any former Confederate state, but in North Carolina. North Carolina was a member of the Confederacy. They've never had a black governor. This would be a big moment, you would think, for the libs. Yet they don't seem too keen on electing their first black governor. They don't want to shatter that ceiling. Oh, and the other thing that they're going after him for, one of his things on this port site, was he said, don't fuck white bitches. That's the lesson here. I don't know what the context of that was, but he was saying, hey, it's not a good idea. Don't do it. So they're shaming a black man for only being attracted to white women, or black women. I mean, is that really progressive? Is that where the libs are at? They just want every black person to dilute their gene pool with whiteness? I thought whiteness was evil. Is it so wrong for Mark Robinson, a black man, to want to procreate with a black woman and, keep the African American community in America alive? I mean, because what happens if every black man, marries a white woman? What happens? Then in a couple generations, there's no more black people. They'd be gone. Poof. They'd be completely diluted. If you took the 13% and you just spread them out across the entire American gene pool, they'd disappear pretty quick. You'd see some features there. There would be some dominant traits that would linger. But we'd end up looking like, like Brazilian Miku. White Americans would get a little darker. And on average, and that'd be about it. And so Mark Robinson, he took the opposite position. He said, you know what, just don't F with white chicks. And CNN is attacking him for it. I don't think that's right. And so I think that it's fine. I think it's high time that North Carolina moves on from the days of slavery, from the Civil War, and they finally healed and they complete the process by electing their first black governor. And I think that those honkies in Atlanta at CNN, I'm talking about you, what was his name? I know he likes to use the K-File thing. That's his Twitter handle, @K-File. Andrew? Is it Andrew? I almost said Andrew Krasenstein. It's not Krasinski either. I can't remember. But he's a white guy at CNN in Atlanta, trying to keep the black man in North Carolina down. Make sure that they're getting too uppity up there, up to his northeast. Or I guess maybe, well, no, it's North Carolina's northeast of Atlanta. I was going to say due east, but no, due east would be South Carolina. So with that said, I'll see you folks back here in the next one.